All right, Nick, let's talk about the Green Bay Packers. This is a team who came into the draft with a very specific purpose to help upgrade the defensive side of the ball. And I think there's been some reports out of OTAs that some of the key picks that they had made through this draft are really starting to pan out.
Yeah, Miles, it's looking like a very strong start for a key Packers rookie in particular. But before we get into that report, Packers fans got a question for you guys to answer in the comment section below. Look, this is obviously one of the most, if not the most storied franchise in NFL history. So that makes this question for you incredibly challenging. Who is the greatest Green Bay Packer pass rusher of all time? There's a lot of phenomenal names to throw out there. You can go back to the Lombardi days. You can, of course, bring up the 90s with Reggie White. There's some more recent names as well. There's a lot of great names you can throw out there, but we want to hear from you specifically in the comment section below, the greatest Green Bay Packers pass rusher of all time. And make sure you stay tuned to the end of today's video to hear word from our partner of today's video, and that, of course, is Neuro. Neuro's got a lot of great products to give you a fast and easy energy boost. We love to take their mints or their gums before the show. Gives us the energy we need to produce this Packers content that we know you like. So make sure you stay tuned to the end of today's video to learn more about Neuro. And here's the important part, get access to our special there, discount code. All right, Miles, what you got? What's the latest out of Green Bay?
Yes, Nick, let's get right on into the article because I think it says a lot of great stuff, and then we'll talk about it. So, Nick, this is over from on USA Today, the Packers Wire site on there. So it says, although it's important to note that pads aren't on yet, and of course, pads aren't on yet, it's OTAs. If you want to complain about the pads not being on, don't listen to stories about OTAs. So, pads aren't on yet, but Green Bay Packer first-round pick Lucas Van Ness has looked the part through team OTAs. During Wednesday's practice, which was open to the media, Van Ness was a constant in the backfield. Van Ness' most impressive play, though, came on a play action where Sean Clifford in the shotgun and the running back to his left. Van Ness was able to create separation between him and the tackle, but instead of going directly to the quarterback, he set the edge, identified if the running back had the ball before, then he pursued Clifford for what would have been a sack. And this is what Kenny Clark had to say about Van Ness. He says he's going to be great for us. He's going to be a versatile, play a lot of different spots. He's big, he's strong, so I think he can play inside at the 5 tech. He's playing the 3 tech inside. He's going to be a pass rusher. He's agile enough to go out, play on the edge. He's a versatile guy, big, strong, he's fast on the ball. His long arms, he can do pretty much anything. So, Nick, I think it's a pretty good sign early on. We have seen this time and time again with these type of guys who are moving all around the ball, outside linebackers to, edge rushers type stuff with Micah Parsons. Now, you look at a guy like Van Ness, he's kind of doing the same thing, but a little bit different. Interior pass rusher, exterior pass rusher, doesn't really matter. He can do it all. And as per the story, he can identify and stop the run as well, something the Packers needed a lot of help with last year. So I think it's very early on, but I think it's looking really bright for Van Ness and what he can bring to this team. I'm curious, what are your thoughts on Van Ness and how can he affect this Packers team?
Yeah, so there's a few points I want to bring up. First, we always talk about it all the time. Minicamp and OTAs matter. And I know there's all these old heads that want to put in the comment section, they're just wearing shorts. Trust me, it matters. When has there ever been a guy who looked really bad in shorts, really bad in minicamp, really bad in OTAs, really stunk it up, and then just turned it on and was really good in training camp, preseason, regular season? It doesn't happen. Just because you're good in OTAs doesn't mean you're going to be good in the when the pads come on and good during game time. But if you're bad in OTAs or underwhelming in OTAs, it's usually a sign that you're probably going to be underwhelming when the pads come on as well. So the fact that he's making plays, doing a good job during OTAs and mini camps, even though he's in shorts, it really matters. And number two, when you're an offensive or defensive lineman, especially in the spread offense kind of environment, especially in pass rush situations, even though you're in shorts and helmet, it is literally just as physical. I guarantee you this, just as physical as it would be is if you're in full pads. It's different because you're not run blocking. It's a whole different environment if it was, inside drill, power run situations. But when you're in pass rush situations, it is just as physical for the offensive and defensive linemen in shorts and helmets as it is in full pads. That's the truth. That's the reality. Anyone that's played that level, whether it's college or pro, any sort of high level of football as an offensive or defensive lineman, and I was a college offensive lineman, if you're in helmets and shorts, it's just as physical in passing situations as it is full pads. That's 100% full stop. So this stuff matters. Number two, let's focus back on Van Ness here for a second. So look, this is a Packers defense that if you look at their secondary, they are a playoff, potentially championship level secondary. And that is critical in today's NFL. But one of the issues that really hampered the Packers last year was their lack of production in terms of sacks from their pass rush. I think they had the 5th fewest sacks in the NFL last season. That's not going to get it done. We look at the Philadelphia Eagles. They led the NFL in sacks, of course. They had a fantastic season. You look at the Kansas City Chiefs, Super Bowl runner-ups, 2nd. Dallas Cowboys divisional round. They were 3rd. You go down the list, obviously the Ravens made the playoffs. The Seahawks made the playoffs. Most of the teams in the top 10, the Jets just missed the playoffs, right? A lot of the teams in the top 10 are basically, in terms of sack leaders, are teams that make the playoffs. You have to be really good at getting after the quarterback, or you have to be just scary good at offense, and you have the perfect quarterback. That's like the Bengals and Joe Burrow. But that's honestly, it's really hard to expect that to happen when you have a quarterback and 3 great wide receivers. The Packers, the jury's out on Jordan Love. We'll see how good he turns out to be. But to expect Jordan Love this season to carry the Packers the way the Bengals have been carried by Joe Burrow is a little unrealistic. So with that in mind, you have to rely more on your defense, which makes sense. They're structured to do that. But in order for their defense to step up, they need more production in terms of getting the quarterback to the ground. That's huge in today's NFL. Of course, we saw with the Philadelphia Eagles last season. That's what basically carried them to the Super Bowl. Everyone talks about Jalen Hurts, but it really was their front four getting after the quarterback. Then Ness being productive, which I think he certainly can be, is a great sign for the Packers, because they're going to need a lot more production out of their front four in terms of getting the quarterback to the ground, not just getting pressures, not just, forcing him out of the pocket. They have to get him to the ground, because in today's NFL, we see it all the time. These quarterbacks are scary good about making plays on the run. Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott, heck, even Kirk Cousins, even when he's under pressure. Jared Goff, same thing. They have the ability to hang in there and deliver strikes down the field, even if they're being harassed. It's more important now than ever to get these guys to the ground, and Van Ness is showing he has the ability to do just that in minicamp and OTAs. I think has a strong chance of correlating into training camp, preseason, and of course the regular season. I think this is a great sign for the Green Bay Packers. All right, Miles, we would like to give a special thanks to our partner today's video, Neuro.
That's right, Nick. And I want you to go with me on a journey really fast. I want you to imagine this. It's 4th and goal in the big game, Nick. Your team is relying on you to make the big time game winning play. I know you've been in this situation before, Nick. The stadium is roaring. The clock is ticking. The game is on the line. But if only in that moment you were able to have some Neuro gum. Neuro gum will help you stay concentrated, and it gives you a burst of energy without a nasty crash.
That's right, Miles. Neuro has thoughtfully curated ingredients and does endless lab testing, which means that you can reach the right state of mind safely and consistently. That's the most important part. It gives you a clean burst of energy and focus without the jitters of coffee or any of those other energy drinks.
That's right, Nick. And if you click our sponsor link in the description below, you can enjoy energy, calm, and focus whenever you need it.